I almost interrupted you. Just where are you staying, man?
Yeah, man. Well, when we're trying to kill time for our lazy-ass co-hosts who can't make the show on time, sometimes we got to draw a story out.
Look, I don't understand why Mark didn't explain to these guys. I very clearly explained to my employer, Wednesdays, 7 to 9. Big deal. I'm on the show. Can't work. Gotta leave early. And they've accommodated that as much as they can. Mark's works doesn't seem to know this.
Yeah.
But what I will tell you is that while you're there, if you are going to watch a finals game, if you're going to watch a game, one of my favorite places to watch there, and I thought was some of the nicest screens, atmosphere is kind of weird, is at the Cosmo. The Cosmopolitan, one of the nicer sports books. Don't go to Mandalay Bay. The worst screens ever. Great for playing poker if you want an easy couple games, but that's way off. I go to the Cosmopolitan. You'll see what I'm saying. Really nice sports book there.
I like it. Yeah, I'm going to be playing a lot of poker during the day. After lunch, before nighttime festivities, probably a lot of 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock poker tournaments that I found around town. That's my favorite thing to do, is sit down in a poker tournament, get a good 2 to 5 hours of entertainment, depending on how well you do. And so I'll be doing a lot of that. Katie's got.
I think the two best places for that, in my opinion, Bellagio's, the hands down best. I mean, you can get some 2-4 as opposed to just 1-2. But some of the easier games that you find are some of the smaller poker rooms. Like I said, Mandalay was one that I thought was okay. The problem that you run into is that midweek, early day poker. You get all the old guys that just don't want to put anything in the pot. But hey, you do have the World Series of Poker going on, so maybe you could find a cheap tournament to get in there, and maybe try and get a bracelet. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, you can see me on TV here. No, that'd be fun. So Adam has just informed me that he is not making it tonight. So we're going to have to BS golf on our own or do something else.
That's really a disaster. I'm glad I didn't win any of those the tickets that I was playing for, this $100 Millionaire Maker. But so going into this 8 o'clock hour here, we can go off sports here for a second. And I really wish I had actually listened to a couple podcasts. I had thought about it, but I didn't win the tickets. On Netflix, there's a show. It's called Bad Blood. Did you see the first season of Bad Blood?
Never even heard of it.
Okay, so the first season is I think it's a true to life. I mean, obviously, as true to life as any of these things are, about a mafia family that was in Montreal, Quebec, and kind of the inner workings of it, and how it kind of fell apart. The second season, the first season was fantastic. I stayed up till 3 a.m. one day. I couldn't stop watching. It's 8 episodes, wonderful. The second season just came out last Sunday, I think, Saturday, Sunday. Again, 8 episodes. I think this is all completely fabricated. I don't think any of the second season was real or true to life, but maybe it was. But again, I watched all 8 episodes in the day. If you like mafia gangster movies, Bad Blood, definitely worth watching.
All right, I'll get into that. Well, tonight when I can't sleep because of my excitement for my flight, I'm probably going to have to watch Rounders real quick because that always gets me excited about poker.
When I first moved out on my own, our cable got shut off, and we only owned, I shouldn't say owned, we had 2 Blockbuster DVDs rented that eventually became ours. Rounders was one of them. The other one was Boiler Room, and I constantly watched both of those.
I have both of those downstairs.
Those are the only 2 things that I watched. I would wake up in the morning and my friend would have been watching Rounders. I mean, you have to remember too, this was probably 2003, 2004. So this is at the height of, poker hysteria and the poker boom. And, I don't know if it's the height, but it was the explosion of it. I think it it kind of it jumped up, and then kind of it did plateau a little bit, and then it jumped up a little bit more and has since then. But that was when the excitement was. I mean, you find poker on 6 different TV channels. You'd watch it, you'd love it. I don't think I'm going to watch poker for more than 20 or 30 minutes at this point. It just, it doesn't.
Man, I could still watch it for hours, and just enough time to talk a little geek culture. Looks like Brewery Mark has joined us.
Say, do you play with Oreo cookies?
No, but hey, Mark, I don't know if you caught us earlier. Do I need to call into your job and let them know like that this is serious? Like, we just can't have you coming in the second hour here. Like, what are they doing to you? It's just not acceptable on their part. It's no fault.
Yeah, there's just tons of work to do. The problem is it's a tax company, so we have basically 5 to 6 months outside tax season to do all of our work.
I think you're making excuses for him.
I
but
think
anyway,
he is too. It's fine. It's fine. He says he doesn't have internet, so he can't host the software. I mean, it's all excuses, Chris.
Yeah. Who doesn't have internet these days?
Franklin, North Carolina, apparently.
Well, at least this apartment complex.
I mean, I thought Mark was going to come down and visit Mulberry. I haven't seen him though.
I have not had a chance.
Yeah, all of his spare time has been satisfying his wife's loneliness, meaning just flying back home.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I've got lots of free time on my hands now these days, so I don't have to do any of that any longer. So
sounds like you should be driving up to Franklin.
I still have a dog to take care of. I mean,
road trip.
Maybe when there's a spot for the horses, because she's a cattle dog, and she could, kind of try and. I know horses aren't cattle, but there's goats, right? Goats are closer to cattle than horses. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. Probably a bad idea to introduce the dogs to the horses and the goats. Now that I think about it, get some chickens. You have chickens?
We have chickens.
Probably not a good idea to introduce the dog to the chickens. Do you have cows?
No.
Yeah, I think she'd like some cows. She's looking at me. She's saying, yeah, she'd love to herd some cows. So if you get some, she'll help.
Was she's an Aussie cattle dog?
She's a Catahoula. So even if you have swampland, a Catahoula, you can look it up. They're leopard dogs. If you don't know what they look like, most people don't. They usually have spots and different colored eyes. She has none of that. She's looking at me, so I don't want to call her plain looking because she's adorable. But she has web paws and like she uses them like claws. But she, when me and Steph would walk, she would try to herd us together. It was like her natural instinct. So they're herding dogs. They're swamp dogs. They're stubborn, and she's a little chubby, so she could use a workout.
I see.
I love it. I don't know if you heard me, but Adam has declined to be part of the show tonight.
Well, it just means we have to talk more TV and movies.
Yes, it's quite possible. So I'm kind of in a lost world right now, Mark. For again, let's do one more plug here. We are Draft for Upside, craft beer, fantasy sports. We like poker. We like geek culture, TV. We do a lot of PGA on the second hour of the show, and unfortunately, Adam is not here. He's taken a week off to get ready for the U.S. Open coming up. What's next? What's the next big one?
U.S. Open's next weekend, this is the final warm-up.
Yeah, we have some silly thing in some northern country going on this week, so who cares, right? And so we're going to skip this week. But anyways, we are on the Legend Sports Network at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com. We are Draft for Upside. We're on every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Usually the second hour is full of golf. It is not this week because Adam has left us, and we're probably going to just get geeky for the last hour because we talked baseball. Our games are live now. We talked basketball. We'll have Mark catch us up on what's going on in the world of hockey here shortly. And then we're probably going to get geeky the rest of the time. So if you're not into geeky culture, then go ahead, turn us off. That's what I say.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad Adam's not here. I already built my lineup and everything.
Well, I mean, I did reserve, an entry into the D for You Golf by Johnny Danger number 20. So we can spend 20 or 30 minutes talking about some golf here. Like
we certainly can. Well, while I pull up all my golf stats, why don't you, real quick, Mark? You're our hockey guy. Fill us in. What's going on in the Stanley Cup?
If you're not watching it, you're missing one of the best finals I have seen in a long time. We're knotted 2-2. I believe Game 5 is tonight. The beautiful thing about it is each team is one on the road, so they're just going back and forth. It was Boston, then St. Louis, and then Boston, then St. Louis, and they're winning them in different fashions. So, yeah, it's been entertaining. It's been chippy. They've been letting them play. The goalies have been standing on their heads. If you're even a fair weather fan of hockey, this is some of the best hockey you'll see.
Why are they not separating the hockey and the basketball finals games? What's up with that? Why are they both tonight? Neither sports fan cares about the other sports fan.
No, it's just the NHL is very poorly managed, which is why. Some people don't even consider it the number 4 sport anymore.
Well, golf is obviously past it.
Yeah, in NASCAR.
Yeah, probably, huh?
Yeah, as far as like ratings and stuff. Yeah, the NHL is just it's very poorly managed. The popularity has been going up a little bit, but this is the kind of thing is the other sports don't respect it enough to avoid it. If that makes sense.
Yep.
It's just my opinion, but I think it's fairly true.
Who's in charge of the NHL? Who should I send a copy of this to?
Oh, Gary Bettman. He's been in charge for a couple of decades now, and
sometimes you need fresh blood, right?
Yep. Yeah, he's the guy who lost the ESPN contract, and
he's still around.
Yep. Well,
he must protect the owner's interest pretty well, then, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's what we usually find. All right. Well, Mark, let's talk about it. Looks like our man Chris has got his lineup reserved in our contest. I'm going to go ahead and get into ours as well. And
actually, I'm trying to find somebody that will deliver me alcohol in my Lakeland address right now. So
I like it. Well, Mark, you don't have to compete at all to do the breakdown right now. You can get into it all on your own. You don't have to worry about rude Mr. Adam White butting in. Tell us about the RBC Canadian Open.
All right, so this is going to be the final warm-up before the U.S. Open. The big thing to note here is, or actually, there's a lot of big players playing. I was surprised, but it's not the greatest field, and they're playing on where is it? Hamilton Golf and Country Club outside of Toronto. They haven't played on this course since 2012. They've only played there twice, so there's not a lot of course history. So I'm not putting a lot of course history into my data this week. It's a very short course, 7,000 yards. It's a par 70, and it's 30 yards wide on average for the fairways, and lots of trees and lots of dog legs. So that kind of, in my opinion, lowers the dependency on the big bombers. You're going to see a lot of people hitting irons and fairway woods off the tees, positioning themselves.
You said only 2 par 5s on this course?
I did not say, but...
Sorry, I'm looking through my own course breakdown.
Believe you are correct. There's only 2 par 5s.
So what you're saying is no par 5 scoring in the model?
I did not put par 5 scoring in the model, no.
I'm learning. See, I'm learning.
Hey, before we go any further, I wasn't on last week, so I just want to revel in my Kevin Na, stand-em really quick. Okay, cool. We can move on.
Yep, it was fantastic. Well done. Well played.
Yep.
Well played.
So stats